In today's episode, we invited Mr. Youri Dumousseau as a guest to have a conversation with us. Youri is a tutor of Audiovisual Communication Unit in University of Melbourne. We will discuss about how social media influencing the creation of documentaries, and we hope that might bring the inspiration to the people who are interested in or wish to create the documentaries. Good afternoon, Youri. It's my honor to have this conversation with you. So you are the first person that came up into my mind when I decided to do this episode, because one of my friends was your student in the audiovisual communication tutorial. He told me that you're a very kind and patient tutor for him and for his team. So they're doing the documentary project.
That's very kind of them to say that.
Documentary is very interesting subject. It's a very interesting form. So for me, basically, it's just a record about what is or what was actually happening. Am I understand that correctly for the definition?
I guess, yeah. The idea is to document and to tell a story through, information that you gather from the real world. But like all stories, they can be told in many different ways, and certain things can be said and others can be not said. Documentaries work with the real world, with genuine stories of things that happened. But they're not they're very different to news reports, for example, that really try to be extremely objective. Oh. And so often documentaries, I would say, have a stance. They take a stance. They try to argue something. There's varying kinds. But yeah, in the general, to give a general definition, there are stories from the real world.
Oh, so you mean before you create the documentary, you actually have to stand about what you want to present, what you want to discuss?
Usually, it also depends on the type of approach you want, of documentary, of course. But you'll find that a lot of people are trying to say something in particular.
That's very interesting. It's very new for me. So when you teach your student to create the documentaries, would you consider them find the inspiration or materials from the social media?
Yeah, I don't know about materials, but I guess social media has a good job of highlighting trends. Yeah. And not necessarily as in what I want to try to say is things that people care about and are interested in at that moment.
Yeah.
And so it can help you, either kind of observe, of course, the trend and its kind of effect. But also in terms of topics. So there's I don't necessarily tell them to go on social media, but I definitely do tell them to kind of reach out to people, use social media as a resource to find people to kind of for their stories. I mean, it's fantastic because there's people that are voluntarily kind of giving you an extract of their own life.
So how about there are some fake things, fake informations in the social media. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, there's fake things everywhere, right?
Yes, that's right.
It's everywhere, and when you interview someone, you usually don't have a lie detector, right? You just have to kind of go with what they're telling you. But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of where, again, I guess your own training has to come into play, where you have to kind of be aware that not everything is the truth necessarily, that you have to take things with a grain of salt, make your own opinions, do your own research. And it's not just because someone says that this thing is like that you have to trust them, So trust the research. And that's usually what I tell. That's why we kind of emphasize this in the subject I teach, is that do the research, right? Really learn about your topic, learn everything, so that then you can see through, right, these things. And it's true that social media presents just usually one side of something, the nicer side. And, of course, I think if you're making documentary, you want to see the other side too. You want to see the side that no one else sees, because you want to document things that nobody knows about.
Well, thank you so much for your coming today.
Is that it?
Yep.
That was an interesting chat. I liked it. That was great.
Really? Thank you so much.
This is the end of today's episode. Subscribe my podcast and blog if you wish to know more about the film industry. See you next time.